Good morning from Europe, Serbia to be exact, and welcome to the 5th edition of Englishing with Jings. I'll be your host, Brandon Loudshire, and today's topic is the supernatural. Yeah, exciting stuff, spooky stuff. I know there's so many people out there that have a supernatural, spooky story for me. And I'm going to be here for the next 2 hours waiting for these spooky stories, people. Feel free to chime in. First hour, as always, the first 30 minutes, we'll be doing answers of questions. So feel free to comment your questions. Second half hour, we'll be doing live questions and answers, which means you can come on here live. And you can share your audio, video, or both. Actually, if you're sharing your video, you better share your audio, right? It would be weird to just see you, doing one of these. Anyway, yes, I've been so excited about this for the last week. Anticipating some of these crazy stories that I'm about to hear in the next 2 hours. This is just, I'm nervous almost to hear these stories because I don't want to have nightmares. I personally have a couple of short stories about my experiences with the supernatural. Let me see, I was probably about 10 years old. And I went to watch a movie with my grandmother, her best friend, and my aunt when I was 10, like I said. And we were finished with the movie and we were on our way back home. And we definitely saw something in the sky that wasn't normal. It looked like an alien spaceship to me. I think in the news the next day, they said that it was a satellite that was falling in the sky. I don't believe it, people. It wasn't moving like it was falling. It was going in really weird directions, circling in the sky. And it looked like definitely there was an alien spaceship in the sky that I know it. I know it. Yeah. And, when we say supernatural here at Englishing with Jings, it's not limited to aliens, ghost stories, anything that's not normal. This is supernatural. And I am here anticipating, like I said, some awesome stories. I'm definitely a personal believer of we're not the only life forms in this universe. Think about it, people. The universe is so big, so many galaxies, so many planets. These days, our scientists can see so far into the universe. They're seeing other galaxies that have suns similar to ours, with planets that are close enough to the sun where they even look blue, and that makes me think that they sustain life. So there's definitely other life forms out there. For example, right now on Mars, they're discovering that there's ice, there's water. What does that mean, you ask? That means there's life forms. Where there's water, there's life. Sure, these life forms are probably in a deep freeze and can't live. They might be dormant, but okay, these are life forms. There's life on Mars. Which reminds me of an old David Bowie song that I used to listen to when I was young. Is there life on Mars? Yes, there's life on Mars. That's supernatural. That's alien life forms. That's pretty awesome. Okay. But I wonder, I've always wondered, if there is life forms out there on different planets, do they look like us? Are they little green people like my background? Do they have spaceships like these ones? I'm curious. Are you curious? Come on, people. get on the panel and send your questions. Let's chat about this. This is something that, I mean, this is one of the timeless questions that we always ask ourselves. Do we feel like we're the only intelligent beings in this universe? Not a chance. Not a chance. Are you ready for some supernatural? Introducing the ghost coffee. Supernatural coffee. It's all supernatural today. Okay, people, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. This is your chance to come on here and become famous in the world of YouTube and Facebook. And all the programming today is being sponsored by Jing's Learning Center, where we offer English classes. Yes, people, if you want to brush up on your English skills, if you want to perfect your English skills, or just start to learn English, we're offering classes. We have some highly skilled professional teachers, and they have a whole lot of combined experience teaching children English. In this busy world, I know that as parents, because I am one, we like to enroll our children in different activities. And I think one of the most popular activities that we can enroll our children in these days is English. My daughter is actually very good with English, but she's a native. So I know there's a lot of parents out there that would love to have their children speaking at a native English level, because this is highly beneficial in the world that we live in these days. So go ahead and look us up. We'll leave a link for you on Facebook and YouTube. Like I said, give it a shot. We're highly successful in training children in the English language. I myself am one of these teachers, and we have lots of fun. We don't just learn, we laugh. It's great. I highly, highly recommend it. Okay. Let's see. You know, when I think of supernatural, of course, I think of aliens. I think of ghosts, vampires, werewolves. There's so many different stories in the world when it comes to supernatural. I'm living in Southeast Europe, and the country I live in, Serbia, is bordering Romania. Do you people know what Romania is all about? Any famous stories from years past? Vlad Dracula, people. He lived in Romania, and that's real. Dracula was a real person. Yeah. In fact, I think soon, when we're out of this crazy epidemic that we're experiencing right now and travel resumes, I think that my family and I will take the Dracula tour. That's right. You can actually tour to Romania, and you can actually go to Vlad Dracula's castle. Does that sound like something you would like to experience? I know I do. I can't wait for this. I'm really excited. Maybe next year around Halloween. You know, us Americans love Halloween. How do you feel about Halloween? You can be any supernatural creature that you want for Halloween. And I think this is actually a great opportunity for everybody to experience the supernatural. I've been so many different supernatural beings for Halloween in the years. This is definitely one of my favorite holidays, if you want to consider it a holiday. And I highly recommend it. I'm not exactly sure how everybody celebrates Halloween, or if they even do celebrate Halloween in their countries. How is Halloween celebrated, or is it celebrated in Asia, Hong Kong, Taiwan? Let me know. Japan, South Korea. I'm curious. I've never actually asked any of my students about Halloween. And Halloween's definitely on my mind today, people. Do you know any good stories about vampires, werewolves, mummies, Frankenstein? All supernatural. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I maybe I'll read a couple of different scary stories for you today in the bottom of the hour. We'll see what we have. We'll see. Right now, I'm looking for participants. Comment your questions. I have a little bit of experience with the supernatural. Not that I'm an expert. I can't say that, that's for sure, but I do know a thing or two. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure that I witnessed an alien spacecraft in the sky about 33 years ago. Yeah, I'm telling my age. I'm an old man these days, whatever. I'm not embarrassed. I still feel young at heart. Ask any of my students, they'll tell you. Yeah, so going back to the teaching situation, I am an ESL teacher online, as you may know from watching our previous episodes, and I love it. I truly love it. What I can say is, I've had jobs in the past where it's difficult to wake up in the morning and go to work. You feel like you're in the same loop routine every single day. With being an ESL teacher, not the situation. I love to wake up in the morning, go to work. Every day is different. I speak to a new student, or multiple new students, I should say, every single day. And it is so exciting. It really is. Especially, given the fact that I get to learn about all of my students' cultures and what they do on a regular basis. And being from the United States, as you may know from past episodes, I'm originally from Chicago. We don't get very many opportunities back in the States to learn about different cultures. In my experience teaching ESL online, I have now met people from 40 different countries. And I'll tell you what, it's such an amazing world that we live in. And, I wish now that when I first started, I asked people about supernatural stories, because every country has their own supernatural background, or, old fairy tales. I've definitely heard a few different stories from my Chinese students about different spirits that protect their families' homes, different kinds of ghost stories. And they're interesting. I can't remember exactly what they are now, because this is when I first started teaching, but I know that each family has these sort of stories. I've heard different stories about how like certain relatives had to exorcise ghosts from their family members, things like this. It's so tough for me to remember the exact details, but I've heard these stories and they just give me shivers down my spine. I love that kind of stuff. Americans are definitely into the horror genre. I don't know. There's something about the U.S. and horror stories. I think this is the land where you see lots of different horror movies in Hollywood. And ever since I was a child, and I was from a very large family, we used to like to watch horror films, even when I was young. And I know that's crazy. Like most parents these days wouldn't allow you to watch horror movies until you're at a certain age, maybe 12, 13 years old. But I can remember watching horror films when I was 5 years old. So I don't know. I mean, certain kids can handle this, certain kids cannot. And I just think that our family was, we never took them seriously. And they're fun. Okay, some are a little bit too much, but some are fun. How do you feel about horror films, parents? Are you okay with your children watching different scary movies? Question your comments. Comment your questions. Did you see how I did that? Anyway, really though, comment your questions. I'm curious how parents feel about different horror movies and if their children are allowed to watch. I think a lot of parents in the United States are okay with this. How is it in Asia? How is it in Hong Kong, Taiwan, mainland China? Call in. I'll bring you on the panel. Let's talk. It's time for a ghost coffee though. Oh, you can see it. What's up with that? No, you can't. There's no coffee. What are you talking about? There's no coffee. Supernatural coffee. Oh, that's my lifeblood, people. I have to have it. Okay, people, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. This is our 5th edition of Englishing with Jings. We have a topic. It's the supernatural. What do you think? What are your questions and concerns about the supernatural? What experiences have you had with the supernatural? Let's hear it. Tell the world. This is your opportunity. And you get to practice English for free. That's right. We don't charge one red penny, as we say in the United States. Get on here, excuse me, and practice your English conversation skills, which, by the way, we offer classes doing exactly that, practicing your English conversation skills. At Jing's Learning Center, we'll help you with your grammar, your vocabulary, with sentence structure, practicing with conversation in English. Help your children become expert native English speakers through Jing's Learning Center. And not only will you learn English, we make it fun. This is key to the learning experience. If you can't have fun while learning, you don't learn. I'm telling you right now, I can tell you from firsthand experience, all of my children learn very well. Sometimes it takes a little while, especially if you're just beginning. This is completely understandable. But if you're at a moderate or intermediate level of English, we can help you accelerate very fast. You will become a native speaker in a very small amount of time. I can say this for certain because I'm a teacher. I see the results. It works well. But yes, we offer classes at Jing's Learning Center on Saturdays and Sundays for now. And we will probably start having classes throughout the week too, pretty soon. We're starting to become a little bit popular. So feel free to check out the links that we'll leave on YouTube and on Facebook and get your children in. It's a demanding world out there and English is definitely required. So do your part. Get your kid English lessons through Jings. Okay, people, let's talk about weather. Why not? I'm curious. It's really nice outside right now here in Serbia. Beautiful spring weather. Every single day is so sunny. Let's see here. The current weather here in Serbia. Let me change it to metric. I'm an English system boy, so the metric system, the Celsius centigrade system, I'm still not too familiar with, but okay. 16 degrees outside at 9:51 a.m. Not so bad. Not so bad. I think about 3 weeks ago, we had snow. Yeah, imagine that. Like 10, 15 centimeters of snow. So strange, almost supernatural. Yep, I said it. But seriously, here in Serbia, normally you have a moderate amount of snow throughout the winter. This winter we had 0 snow. And we ended up having, I'd say 15 centimeters in March. I don't know. Mother Nature's confused these days. Who knows? Okay, speaking of the weather, what's the weather like in your country? What's the weather like in Taiwan, Hong Kong, mainland China, Japan, South Korea, whatever, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, wherever you're at? Send me a comment. I'm curious. I didn't watch the World Weather Report this morning. Didn't have enough time. Yeah, I'm curious. Let's talk about anything you would like. We're not limited to the supernatural. Maybe everybody's a little bit scared to talk about the supernatural today. I understand. The supernatural can be scary. A little spooky. Maybe you're nervous about the supernatural. Maybe you're a little bit shy. Don't be shy. I'm easy to talk to, people. I think I've talked to over 760 different students in my time. Yeah. And on a weekly basis, I speak to about 41 students. So this is my profession. Get on here and let's have a conversation. We're still in the first half hour, which means that we're taking chat questions in the panel. Comment your questions. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. I would actually like to see you and hear you. I've only had one student do that so far. Every time they, my guests come on, they do audio. I understand. Audio is easy. Anybody can talk, but it takes somebody brave and courageous to come on a show like this and show themselves to the world, like I'm doing for 2 hours every Sunday. But you know what? I love it. I truly love it. This is definitely one of my greatest outlets to get the message out for how great the English language is and how important it is to learn. For example, I'm living in, you're definitely going to have lots of competition when it comes to, the real world and job opportunities. So I would say that this is something that's crucial, really, people. Do we have a panelist? Let's see. Okay, maybe I'm seeing things again. It's a little bit supernatural. I'm seeing things. X-Files. Okay, people. We've been on for nearly 30 minutes, and I'm definitely waiting for some spooky stories. Don't make me call my friends from the United States and let them call in with their spooky stories. I don't care about those. I want to hear yours. Okay, let's see. What can we do here? Maybe we should read some spooky stories, I suppose. I thought for sure I'd have some questions, but nothing yet. Okay, hold on 1 second here. Give me 1 minute, people. Bear with me. Having some technical problems here. I'm still here. Hold your breath. Not for too long, though. Okay, give me 1 more second. Okay. You know what? I think that I'm going to go ahead and read some spooky stories. Oh, what's going on here? I'm having some issues. Okay, now I'm back. All right. Okay, we're going to read a couple of spooky stories to get you guys in the mood. Okay, this one is actually perfect for today because in most of the Western world, today is Easter Sunday, very religious holiday. And I have a spooky story about the Easter Bunny. Yeah, are you ready for this one? This is how the story goes. A little girl stood in the doorway to her mother's room and rubbed her eyes. Mom, she said, the Easter Bunny is in my bedroom and he's eating candy. Don't be silly, her mother replied. The Easter Bunny gives candy to children. He doesn't eat candy. Go back to sleep. I can't go to sleep, the girl said. The Easter Bunny is eating candy. She sounded as if she was about to cry. Her mother sat up in bed and said, just go back to sleep, please. It's not even Easter yet. The child sighed. Okay, Mom, she said as she turned and walked away. Mommy just said, I should go back to bed, she said as she fingered a shiny metal dog collar that read, candy. Don't quite understand that one. Okay. Let's see. This one's called, I'm Sorry, Mommy. One night, a woman was sitting in the kitchen reading the newspaper. When she looked up, she saw her 6-year-old son coming down the stairs, dressed in his pajamas. Something wrong, dear? She asked. I had a nightmare, the boy replied. Well, you're safe now, said his mother. I dreamed I was in bed and I heard a sound in Daddy's bedroom, he said. When I looked in the door, I saw these big black things with white eyes. They came out of the closet and they attacked Daddy. Don't worry, said the mother in a soothing voice. She hugged her son close. That was just a dream. It didn't really happen. The boy continued. They ripped him into pieces and then they ate all the pieces. And when they were done, they licked up all the blood from the floor. I thought if I ran away fast, they wouldn't catch me, but they did, and they were going to eat me too. But then they stopped and they said they wouldn't eat me if I promised to. What? Asked the mother. Promised to. Come on, you can tell me anything, said mother. Promise to what? Promise to distract you while they creeped up behind you. I'm sorry, Mommy. The woman heard a floorboard creak behind her, and the hair on the back of her neck stood on end. Wow. He promised to let them take his mom. Ooh. Okay. Wow. That's definitely spooky. Okay. Let's do one more. Let me read through this first just to make sure. Okay. This one's called The Refrigerator. One night, while I was staying at a friend's house, give me 1 second here. Okay. One night, while I was staying at a friend's house, I had a terrible dream in which I was confined in a small, narrow place. I was in complete darkness and couldn't see a thing. The space was so cramped that I couldn't even move my arms and legs. The strangest thing was, I was aware I was in a dream. I kept pinching myself and hoping that I would wake up. It seemed like the oxygen was slowly being used up and I was gasping for air. I began to panic and started screaming and hitting the walls with my shoulders. Just when I felt I was on the verge of death, I awoke in a cold sweat. Trying to calm myself down, I got out of bed and went to the bathroom. As I was walking down the hallway, I noticed a strange noise coming from the kitchen. The sound was very faint, but it seemed to be coming from the refrigerator. It was very muffled, but it sounded like someone was crying out for help. I switched on the kitchen light and was horrified to find the refrigerator rattling and shaking. I stood there in shock, staring at the refrigerator, and a few moments later, the sounds finally ceased. I was too frightened to open the refrigerator, and instead, I went back to bed. The next morning, when I was talking to my friend, I told him what had happened. He gave me a strange look and said that other people who stayed in that room had experienced the same thing. Even now, there are times when I wonder what I would have found that night if I would have been brave enough to open the refrigerator. Oh, these stories are funny. There's so many different stories and urban legends. Do you know about urban legends? Okay, an urban legend is a local folklore or scary story about the area that certain people live in. I'd say almost every village, city, or town in the United States has an urban legend. Usually some local events that happened years ago that are very spooky or scary. I know that a lot of people from Asia have urban legends. In fact, I have in my life experienced a lot of different Japanese and Korean horror movies that are about urban legends. This is some scary stuff, man. I can't remember most of these movies' names because we watched these when I was very young. But yeah, they always have some certain situations that happened in the past. And, these stories are told generation after generation, and they'll continue to forever, I think. That's some pretty cool stuff. What's the urban legend in your area? Come on, let's talk about it. It's actually time for live questions and answers, people. Come on the panel here. Raise your hand, and let's talk supernatural. I'm ready, people. I've been ready now for about 36 minutes. I'm anxious. I mean, I can sit here and read horror stories all day long. That's too easy. That's an easy way to entertain everybody, but I want to hear some original stories. Come on the panel. Let's do this. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. I'm streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Come join me. Let's do this together as a team. I'm all about teamwork, people. Teamwork makes the dream work. Have you heard that one before? Boring. Okay. We are, like I said, in the bottom half hour of the first hour of our show, and that means that we're doing live questions and answers. This is exciting stuff, and nobody's coming. Come on. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm ready. My alien friends are ready. They're cute. I had to pick cute aliens. Are you guys mad at me for picking cute aliens? That's why you're not coming? I can put the scary ones on if you want me to. That's my favorite. This is my friend. That's his ship. Only one alien per ship. can't fit many aliens in these little tiny ships. Okay. I understand people are shy. Maybe it's not a good time during the day. What is it, like 4:08 p.m. in Asia? It's early here in Europe, but this is perfect time for everybody in Asia to come on here and join me. Yeah, I'm curious about the weather in Asia. So I'm going to look and see. Okay, Hong Kong is, if I can find it, 24 degrees right now. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, much warmer than where I'm at, that's for sure. Let's see what it's like in Taiwan. Taipei. $17 degrees. Okay, so Taipei is having exactly the same weather as we do here in Serbia. That makes me feel better. Hong Kong's, wow, 24 degrees. Must be nice. Sounds tropical, man. I want to go to Hong Kong. I wish we could travel right now. Okay, so speaking of traveling, my family had plans for a summer vacation. And then the pandemic happened, so probably not going to happen. I'm so mad about this. We don't have to just talk about the supernatural. Did you have a trip planned for this summer and now it's canceled because of this situation? Yeah, we were definitely going to go on some nice tropical vacation holiday, and now it's canceled. Oh my goodness. We need a cure for this coronavirus right now. If we can cure it right now, we can still go on our vacation. So, I shouldn't sound selfish. We need a cure to save lives, actually, but in the process, I'll still get my vacation. Yeah. That's all I want. Let's see. Ooh, we finally have somebody. Let's see here. Okay, Kim is asking me. I'm sorry, I told your name, Kim. An anonymous question is coming through. Would you spend the night in a place where people say that there are ghosts? That's a good question. Kim? Yes, I think I would, if there was money involved. You pay me money, I stay in the house. No problem. It depends on how haunted the house is and what kind of haunted the house is. Can these ghosts hurt me? If they can't hurt me, yes, I definitely would. To have an opportunity to communicate with the dead? I don't know. It's kind of weird, man. And I'm not scared of ghosts. I can definitely say this. If there was some challenge where I was getting paid money to stay in a home that was haunted, yeah, I'd do it. Why not? Only because I'm not scared. Would you? And not just you, Kim. I'm asking everybody. Say somebody offered, we'll be modest, $10,000 to stay the night in a haunted house, just for one night. Would you do it? I would, for sure. No less than 10,000 though. I'd definitely do it. Yeah, we have a second question. Yeah, people. Okay. Do you believe your ancestors are watching you? See, now that's the kind of stuff I think about when I think of my Asian students. I've heard stories like this. Yeah, yes, I do. I definitely do. Ever since I was a child in the United States, when somebody that we loved would pass away, one of the first things that all of my relatives would say is, "Well, it's okay because now they're watching over you." So I think I was raised to believe this. Um, yeah, I really believe this. Actually, I think that this is very common back in my country. I think that even really good friends and pets, our dogs and cats. Um, I think they watch over us after they pass away, and I think they wait for us in like not in limbo, but in heaven or whatever you believe in. I think they wait for us to arrive, and they try to guard us, almost like guardian angels. If that makes sense. Um, yeah, I definitely believe that. Here's another one. Okay, this is coming from another. I have names, but they're anonymous. I can't say. Okay. Do you visit your ancestors' graves in your country? We just had our season visit. Okay, they just had an ancestor visiting week. It sounds like something like this. Yes, yeah, we do. We do. Our friends, our family. Some people visit their graves on the deceased birthday. We have a day that's every year called Memorial Day, and this is usually a time to visit your family's graves and bring flowers. Um, yeah, of course. I think that every country does this. I mean, I think I could be wrong, but um, it's making me sad. Yeah, every single year, we have loved ones that we visit their graves and bring flowers, and try to, just rekindle the memories that we had with these people when they were still on this earth. So yeah, absolutely. And this panelist is saying we bring gold and stuff makes in paper to burn to them, and fresh flowers and real food. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's really cool. Actually, we just bring flowers. Unless, there's some people that we bring special things to that they would remember, I suppose, things that they loved. I can tell you one situation. My cousin Michael passed away a few years back, and he was a really big baseball fan. And when we were at the wake, um, I actually brought a Major League Baseball, an actual baseball, and I put it in the casket with him. So I think he was buried with this baseball. Um, I wanted him to bring that baseball with him to the next life. He was a really big fan. He loved baseball, and we shared a lot of good memories with baseball. So, yeah, I actually gave it to him before they buried him in the ground. So, um, I don't know. I I definitely think there's an afterlife. I totally believe in the afterlife. Um, I was raised as a Christian, so um, we definitely pass into another dimension, or what people know as heaven after we're passed away. This is my firm belief. So, um, and I think that okay, the loved ones and friends that have passed away, I think that they can still see us. I think they can still experience what we are experiencing. And yes, this is why we visit their graves and bring them gifts, normally flowers. Um, on the day of death, the funeral consists of lots of different varieties of flowers. So this is pretty common. Great questions, guys. Great questions. Um, Here comes another one. Mr. Lobshire, do you believe in reincarnation? Okay. Good question. Good question. Okay, I was raised to not believe in reincarnation from a Christian standpoint, but you know what? I've pretty much formed my own multi-religious beliefs in the last, say, 30 years, 25 years. I definitely want to believe in reincarnation. I think it's definitely a possibility. And that's really, really interesting in my mind because I don't necessarily, okay, if there is reincarnation, I don't necessarily think that we just keep returning as another human being. Maybe your next life, you'll be a tiger. Maybe in your next life, you'll be an insect. Who knows? Maybe you could be a tree. Who knows? Who knows? Now, see, if you believe in reincarnation, then you probably shouldn't believe in ghosts because unless there's some in between, like a purgatory, if you're, when you die, you should be reincarnated. You shouldn't have to be a ghost, right? So this actually cancels out the belief in ghosts if you believe in reincarnation. And I don't necessarily know if I believe in reincarnation, but I think that it's possible. I don't know. This is something we won't know until we pass away, unfortunately. I wish I knew the secrets to life and death. That would make me very, very knowledgeable. That's for sure. Okay, I have another one. Everybody's coming through anonymous again today. Show your name, show your face. But I appreciate these questions. I can't lie. Okay, we have different kinds of ghosts. Do you know what kind? Different kinds of ghosts. Okay, I just know of one kind of ghost, which would consist of some kind of a transparent, being, some, I don't know, like how would you describe that? Some kind of a transparent, see-through apparatus, I guess you could say. Some free floating ghost like that. I don't know. Never seen a ghost. Only on TV, usually in Hollywood movies, which I don't believe so much. So it's tough for me to say. Do I believe in ghosts? Maybe. Do I believe in reincarnation? Maybe. I think it's all possible. I think that these are all definite possibilities that we just won't know until we die, until we leave this world. So, I'm an optimist. I think there's all different possibilities, and I'm not certain. I don't know. I mean, I know people that have claimed they've seen ghosts. I think most of the time it's all in our mind. I think it's all, it's all mental. I think that sometimes we scare ourselves into believing in these certain situations, I think. But okay, it's definitely possible. All right, people, guess what? We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. And this is all brought to you by Jing's Learning Center, where we offer English classes, and we are awesome. I can say this with confidence. Check our website out, people. Check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram. You can check us out on YouTube. We have a channel. Yeah, I cannot stress enough how great our program is for English. Definitely give it a peeps. It's worth it. So the question that I just had about do I believe in, or do I believe in ghosts? Is Walter. and he's a Buddhist, which is awesome. I think the religion of Buddhism is interesting. I know a few things about this peaceful religion. It's pretty cool. And he says, thank you, Brandon. You're very welcome, Walter. Walter, later on in the segment, feel free to call in. I'd love to talk to you. You can share your audio. You can share your video. Tell us some things about Buddhism. I'm just a Westerner. I just know what I see on TV and what a few of my students have told me about Buddhism. But Buddhism is definitely a very, very interesting and righteous philosophy. I think the message that I get from Buddhism is be nice to everybody and everything. This is a pretty simple message, and I think it's definitely the right one. Don't hurt anybody. Don't kill anything. This is Buddhism. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. Here comes another. Oh, Joyce is writing me, and she's saying, yes, I know about this. Are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? Joyce is asking me. Oh, goodness gracious. And she says, do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'm not a huge fan of Twilight. I don't know which team I'm part of. You have Jacob, who is the werewolves, I think, right? And then Edward is the vampires. It's been such a long time since I've seen Twilight. Okay, I went to the movies to see Twilight. I think the second part. God, I can't even remember. I'm not into the new, teeny, yuppie, hipster vampire flicks these days. I'm more of I like the classic vampires, from the earliest form of vampires. A more of a romantic story, like a Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's the kind of vampire, genre that I enjoy. I don't know. It's like some of this modern stuff that they show, and I guess Twilight is a little bit older these days, but it's too kitschy for me. I mean, I don't want to have to decide between Jacob and Edward. That was such a big thing in the United States. I used to see this on every platform of everything, talking about, are you Team Jacob or Team Edward? Okay, Joyce is telling me she's 100% Team Jacob. She's read 99% of the books, but not the ending, because she knows Bella will end up together with Edward. I mean, she was with Edward from the beginning. Am I right? If I can remember watching these movies. Jacob came later. Oh, come on. Yeah. Joyce, you don't like Edward? What do you have against Edward? He's a handsome young man, right? I don't know. Like I said, I'm just not a fan of the hipster vampires. Okay, my favorite movie when I was in my teenage years was The Lost Boys. Are you guys familiar with this movie, The Lost Boys? Awesome stuff. I'm going to write this for you guys so you have a reference. Awesome flick. Awesome flick. Yeah. This had, let's see here, Corey Haim, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Feldman, Sean Penn. No, his brother. Can't think of his first name. Sean Penn's brother. Great movie. Great vampire movie. This was, I think, located in California for the backdrop of the story. And these were like some heavy metal rock star vampires, and it was cool, man. Okay, this was probably that time's version of a Twilight, but more my style. And only one movie, which is exactly what Twilight should have done. Just kept it with one movie. They did too much. Yeah. Okay. You know what, Joyce? Thank you for sending your question through. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Twilight. I went and watched one, like I said, one movie with my wife, and I mean, I thought the idea was cool, but they made it just so, I don't know. It was just too kitschy, I guess. Hipster. Too Hollywood. Does that sound right? Does that make sense? That was too Hollywood for me. Okay, I have another one coming through. And by the way, we're almost to the break. 2 more minutes. I'll take one more question here. I have another person coming through named Moon. Hi, Moon. She's saying hi. Bring the question. She knows Twilight. I don't know it too well, but what's your question, Moon? Bring it through. I'm ready for you. Twilight. Oof. She's asking me how I would react if someone would turn into a werewolf in front of me like Jacob does. Run really fast, Moon. I mean, what can you do? Even if you run, the werewolf is going to catch you. Oof, I don't know. Maybe I would have to scream for help from Edward. Edward, save me. Jacob's here and he's a werewolf. Actually, what I would probably do is say, is that you, Jacob? Hey, I'm Team Jacob, man. Don't hurt me. I don't know. I'm just having fun with this one, Moon. I mean, what could we really do if somebody turned into a werewolf in front of us? The werewolf is definitely fast, from what I can remember watching movies. I guess you would just have to beg for mercy, right? Like, please don't kill me. Actually, I would say right here, man. Go ahead. Do I get to be part of your group, your vampire group? Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. That's fine. I don't know. If I had to choose which one I let bite me, the vampire or the werewolf, definitely. Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. Probably the vampire, because you get to live forever and you don't have to have that horrible transformation that the werewolf does. It looks painful to transform into a werewolf. They're always like, yeah, I don't want to do that. Let me just sleep during the day and come out at night and suck on people's blood. It seems a lot more easy. Moon, thank you very much for the question. Yeah, I would run, I guess. I don't know what else to do. I mean, run and get caught and probably die. But I think the werewolf only bites you and turns you into a werewolf. I don't think they would kill you. Yeah, I think they would just try to make you a werewolf so there's more for their pack. So maybe I just offered my neck. There it is. Have at it. All right, people, we have come to break time. So I'm going to go ahead and take a quick 10, and then we'll do one more hour, and we'll have 30 minutes of questions and answers and 30 minutes of live questions and answers. So feel free to leave your messages during the break, okay? And I'll be back in a flash. Stay cool, peeps.
YouTube Music 強勢登場，全新嘅音樂串流 App Made by YouTube， 你可以隨心所欲欣賞歌手嘅官方 MV 或者收聽心水歌曲。即刻下載 YouTube Music 應用程式，享受30日免費試用，受相關限制約束。
Okay, peeps, we are back for the second half. Okay, are we live? Yeah, I think I'm back. Had a little turny thingy on the screen there, but I think I'm live again. Okay, people, we're back for the second half of the 5th edition of Englishing with Jings. Once again, I'm your host, Brandon Lobshire. We're here for one more hour to take your questions and to bring you on live here on Englishing with Jings. Our topic this week is the supernatural. Crazy, wild stuff. And before we get into some more supernatural talk, let's do an update for weather and the current situation with the COVID-19, because this is definitely the most important topic that we're all experiencing across the world. Oh, goodness gracious. First off, the weather here in sunny Serbia, where I'm currently residing, is about 18 degrees Celsius with sunny skies. Beautiful day, although we are currently on lockdown this weekend here in Serbia. This means nobody is allowed to go outside today. Everybody's staying inside and preventing the spread. This should be the major hashtag right now. Hashtag prevent the spread or stop the spread. Yeah, definitely a crazy situation out there. Here in Europe, which has been the epicenter of this pandemic, seems to be slowing down ever so slightly. We're seeing less cases and less deaths, especially in Italy, where it was out of control less than 1-2 weeks ago. This is good news for everybody in Europe because it really hit hard in Italy first. So we are doing a little bit better here in Europe. Now, as far as my people back in the United States, it's becoming rather out of control, so to say. Right now, New York alone, the state of New York has more cases than any country in the entire world. So I'm definitely scared for my people back in the United States. You know what? Let's do some numbers here. Give me one moment. And by the way, I'm going to send a link here on the screen for you, which is great for updates on this COVID-19. Let me bring it up here just so I can give you some statistics. Okay, almost there. Where is it? Okay, coronavirus update. Okay, this particular link that I use on a daily basis is called theworldometers.info. And right now, people, there is 1,784,352 cases of the coronavirus. There has been 108,965 deaths. But here's the good news. There's been 405,045 recoveries. This is the key. Right now, in the United States, there's 533,000 cases, 20,580 deaths. This is frightening, people. This is more frightening than any supernatural story that I can tell. Let's see. I'm just going to give some stats for the country that I live in. Let's see. Serbia right now, we have 3,380 cases and 74 deaths. Now, this is quite a bit because there's only roughly 7.5 million people that live in this country. So definitely frightening. Okay, let's look for Hong Kong. I'm curious. And you people know more than I do. 1,001 cases and only 4 deaths. That is amazing. Amazing, people. Wow, I wish I could say the same for the country that I live in. And we'll do Taiwan. These are 2 locations where I have probably the most students. Taiwan, 388 cases and only 6 deaths. Taiwan has probably one of the best situations of any country that I can think of. Part of China, sure. But I always looked at Taiwan and Hong Kong as being their own countries. But they're an island. They have no borders. So I think it's much easier to contain the virus in a location like this. It seems to me, from what my students from Taiwan tell me, the only time they have new cases is when somebody leaves the island and returns. This is understandable, but wow, Taiwan, Hong Kong, keep doing the fabulous job that you're doing to contain this virus and keep it at a minimum. This is wonderful. Yeah, right now, I think the major concern is still Europe, which is slightly decreasing, and definitely the United States. A little over 500,000 cases right now. I don't know. I feel so sorry for the government in the United States to try to contain this. It's virtually impossible. I think the current administration is doing a fabulous job to contain this virus to their best capability. Wow, it doesn't matter who the president is in the United States. This is the biggest job in the world right now. So I'm saying prayers on this Easter Sunday for the leadership in the United States and all the people. What can I say? Stay home. This is the easiest way to do it. And I realize this is definitely a very hard choice because you have to worry about the economy. So you have to balance, do you save the economy? Do you worry about the health of the people? There has to be some balance. There's so many different countries around the world right now that don't have such stable economies. So this is the reason why they're still asking people to return to work and to continue working. If you tell everybody to just go home, there's no business, there's no economy, there's no money generated, and then there's a huge crash. So there has to be a balance. I'm definitely not an economic major, so this is very, very, very difficult for me. Okay, people, enough talk about the COVID-19. Just practice, as they say in the United States, social distancing. Stay 2 meters apart from each other when you're in public. Wear your mask, wear your gloves. This is so important. And I don't know, if you're over 65, stay home. You're definitely the most susceptible to this virus. And I have grandparents back in the United States who are in their 80s. So I worry about them the most, to be honest. And my parents here in Serbia, same thing. They're in their 80s. So stay home. Don't go out there. Don't take a chance. It's everywhere. The city that I live in, it's prominent. You know, there's definitely cases. So, and I'm hearing from back home in Chicago that there's lots of different cases, lots of deaths. Whew, scary. Okay, people, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Today's topic is the supernatural. Crazy, wild, interesting stuff. You know, and when I say supernatural, this is, you know, anything caused by forces that cannot be explained by science. That's supernatural. Anything that's not natural. Ghosts, aliens. Somebody's asking, okay, I have a question. Do I know anything about crop circles? That's an interesting one. Crop circles. What do you guys know about crop circles? Okay. If you've ever seen these pictures from the sky, obviously, where there's different designs that are usually left in like cornfields or open pastures. You know what? Can I do a screen share? Let's see what I can do here. Give me 1 second. I'll show you a picture of a crop circle. This is wild stuff. Okay, 1 second. Bear with me. Ooh, here's a good one. Wow, this is really interesting stuff here. Okay. This is a crop circle. Let me do a screen share with you here real quick. This, people. Wow. I mean, come on. Is that possible to create a design this perfect? And you can see how big this is. I mean, look how small the people are that are in this crop circle. Okay, from what I understand, when this happens, it's like everything is burned within these circles. And this has to be done by some very large object. I don't see people coming out to these fields and making something like this happen. Here's another one. Okay, that might be fake. That's pretty intricate. But okay, let me see if I can find something a little more, like something like this. That's amazing. I mean, okay, some of these are probably fake, but that's pretty awesome. I mean, I know these were probably done, obviously these were done by human beings, but not like this one. Look at that. That's so precise. Those are definitely fake. Okay. Bad examples. I need to find something a little more real. Okay, something like this. These are the ones that I can remember when I was a child. Do you believe in this? Do you guys think this is real? Like that one. Look at that. That's awesome. Wow. These are so large, people. I mean, I don't know. You tell me. Does that look real to you? Do you think that was done by humans? I've always been under the impression that maybe an alien aircraft, some kind of a UFO landed in the field, and that's the impression that it left when it landed. You know, how do you guys feel about alien abduction? I've heard some pretty wild stories about alien abductions. There's even some documented stories about people that gave their experiences. I remember, you know, watching some movies when I was young about alien abduction. I mean, if this isn't real, it's frightening. That's all there is to it. Hold on a second. I'm trying to remember. Let's see. Some of these movies that I watched. when I was younger. And I can mention them to you, and you can, maybe if you get a chance, you can watch. Okay, let's see. Let me get a list going here. Okay. Fire in the Sky. That's the one that comes to mind. Have you guys seen Fire in the Sky? Oh my God. That's a frightening movie. The man swears that he was abducted by aliens and probed. Oh my God. Okay. It's as if it wasn't enough to get taken by aliens. They start putting things inside of you while you're on their spaceship, and you're so frightened, or they have complete and absolute control over you to where you can't move to defend yourself. And then they bring you back and let you go. Wow. Crazy stories. Fire in the Sky is probably one of the most, I don't know, interesting stories that sticks out in my mind. Travis Walton, I think, was his name, the man that claims he was taken. And it's based on a true story. I think this happened in like 1975, back around the time I was born. Wild stuff. You have Close Encounters of the Third Kind. There's another good one. Communion. Great movie with Christopher Walken. Absolutely stunning. Intruders, Signs, The Fourth Kind. There's been Dark Skies. There's been so many different alien abduction movies, and that's just wild stuff. Completely wild stuff. We have a question or a comment. Okay, Thomas is asking if I've watched the India movie PK. No, I have not. Is this about alien abduction or crop circles? If you're still watching, okay, PK is an alien and his GPS was stolen by a human. No, I've never seen this. This sounds interesting. Wow, okay. I need to put that in my notes. Check this out. Trying to think of what the movie was with Mila Jovovich. Was that The Fourth Kind? Yeah, Mila Jovovich in The Fourth Kind. I remember watching that, and although I'm seeing it didn't have great ratings, that was pretty freaky deaky, as we say in the United States. I think that's worth a watch. Maybe that's what I do this second hour. Give you guys suggestions. Here, you know what? I'm gonna send you a link for IMDb. This is just a list of alien abduction movies. I'm gonna leave the link. You guys check it out. Give you some material to watch during this crazy COVID-19 situation. Okay, let me leave this link for you. Here it is. Good stuff, people. Definitely good stuff. Okay, people, comment your questions as Thomas just did. I'll answer them to the best of my capability. That's what we'll do the first half hour. Second half hour, we'll have live questions and answers. You come on the panel, raise your hand. I'll bring you on. Tell me your experiences. Tell me your stories about the supernatural. Anything that cannot be explained by science, anything is considered supernatural and interesting to me. Definitely interesting. Okay, another anonymous comment. How do you think the UK Stonehenge was built? Definitely by aliens. Well, I mean, think about this. These are giant, heavy rocks in the middle of nowhere where there's no other rocks. So how did somebody move these giant rocks from one location to another location? Okay, that's possible, sure. The wheel was invented. This is Thomas still. I'm sorry, Thomas. Okay, the wheel was invented by then, of course. But when you get these rocks to this location, how do you lift these rocks and stack them on top of each other? That's not possible, man. No way. Which also brings me to another story. Thank you for the questions and comments, Thomas. And he beat me to the punch. He says, same as the pyramids. That's what I was going to say. How did they build these pyramids all of those years ago? That would have taken millions of people to move these giant blocks and stack them and make these pyramids. And by the way, the stones that were used for these pyramids were cut perfectly at the perfect angles to make these pyramids. How did they know how to do that thousands of years ago? Sounds supernatural to me. Unless maybe society was much more advanced thousands of years ago, and we didn't know about it until now. Or maybe the aliens were visiting the world and helping to build these pyramids and Stonehenge and things of this nature. I don't think that's humanly possible. I just don't. Also, okay, what else do we have here? There's all kinds of different structures around the world that we can say were definitely not done by human beings. Take Easter Island, for example, the big head statues. That doesn't seem natural to me. Okay, for one, these head statues, these profile statues, they're pretty precise and they're huge and they're buried into the ground. And some people think that the full entire body of these statues are inside the ground. I wish somebody would just excavate these to see, or do some kind of a ground x-ray. Once again, this was not done by human beings. No way. No way. And they keep discovering more and more of these as time passes. So there's another one, the Easter Islands, crazy stuff. And not only are there pyramids in Egypt, there's pyramid locations all around the world. Some of these conspiracy theorists think that these are almost like a map for the aliens, strategic locations in the world. So, so these aliens could travel safely to the world, to Earth back in ancient times. Wild stuff, definitely wild stuff. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about the pyramids, the Easter Island, Stonehenge? Supernatural for sure, in my opinion. I'm not so much of a conspiracy theorist, but these situations just don't seem humanly possible. So I'm going to have to say that there was some kind of supernatural help with the creation and construction of these structures. Wild stuff. People, we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. I'm here, guys, for at least another, 40 minutes? Something like that. I'm just saying that I thought that I would hear some really interesting ghost stories from all of my my beautiful panelists from Asia. One that I can remember is, there's certain spirits that protect families in China. I think I've heard this one before. There's even a cartoon about it, a Disney cartoon. There's two ancient warriors that watch over certain families. You have to leave like their picture on the door or something like this. Is this real? Send me a message. Come on live. I'm really curious about that one. Is it just Disney making up stories, or is that real? I'm curious. I'm really curious. Okay, I'm sorry. We have 20 minutes remaining, people. You know what? I'm so thankful for this opportunity to speak to people from around the world. And obviously the location that I'm focused on is Asia. So I think that you guys are a special culture that have lots of ancient stories that are so interesting to people from the West like myself. You're talking about a civilization that has been around for 5,000 years. That's a lot of time to create, a lot of folklore and ancient, beliefs. Let me know about these. Send your comments. How do you guys feel about time travel? There's another one that's really supernatural. Maybe this is how the pyramids and Stonehenge and Easter Island happened. Maybe somebody traveled back in time and helped with technology. I don't know. If you look at certain hieroglyphics that are inside these tombs in Egypt and inside the pyramids, it shows hieroglyphics of spaceships. And these hieroglyphics were carved into the walls thousands of years ago. How did they know about alien spacecrafts 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years ago? I don't know. I think there's a lot of unexplained that we don't know about. Maybe it's a good thing that we don't know about this. I think this would really freak a lot of people out if they knew the truth. Okay, but going back to time travel, how do you guys feel about time travel? Would you like to travel back in time? Okay, let me ask you this. If you had one opportunity to travel back in time, where would you travel to? What year? What would your purpose be? There's a lot of things in the history of man that people would like to change. My God, I don't even know where I would start. There's so many different things, especially terrible things that you could probably help prevent. But when you change time, when you change results, this has what they call the ripple effect. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not. Who's to say? I drink coffee to that. Coffee is king. Beautiful thing. Every day, 2 cups. My CEO, Celia, who you met in last week's show, she's sending me a message. Let's see. She said she would like to go back to the 90s. Okay, why, Celia? What's your reason for going back to the 90s? I know you're listening to me right now. Give me a follow-up. What would you like to change in the 90s? Or would you just like to live in the 90s? If I could travel back in time to live in a certain era, it would be the 60s for me. But I would have to be older, because in the United States, in the late 60s, if you were between the ages of 18 and 35, you would have had to go fight in the war in Vietnam. And I definitely would not want to do that. So if I could live in the 60s and be, say, 35, that would be awesome. That's my time. I was born in the wrong time. Oh, and I'm so waiting for your response, Celia. I'm so curious why you wanted to go back to the 90s. And by the way, I'm glad you're watching. She just says thank you. Okay, she's not going to tell me why she wants to go back to the 90s. Oh, she wants to take her exams all over again. It makes sense. Okay, Celia, CEO and owner of Jing's Learning, wants better scores in school. I can understand that. But you know what? I can say firsthand that she's a very intelligent woman. So whatever. I don't think it matters. I think your scores were proper enough because you're definitely successful in life. So no need to do that. Don't waste your time on school. Go back in time to change the course and events of time, of some situation, or maybe to save a loved one, to save one of your friends. I know a few situations that I would like to do. If I can get a little bit personal, one of my best friends was murdered back in 1993. back in Chicago, maybe I would definitely jump in that time machine and change that. That would be number one, I think, for me. And if we're talking about supernatural, I know you're watching right now, Tim, and I'm proud of you, buddy. You were definitely a beautiful person, beautiful human being, and you were taken far too early from us. So God rest your soul on Easter Sunday, Tim. I love you, buddy. Yeah, situations like that. Jump in that time machine and change history, change history for the better. Maybe you're devious. Maybe you'd like to jump in that time machine and change history for the worse. Come on the show and let me know. I'm curious. And why would you want to do that? Everybody's different. I mean, you know, you can use it for logical reasons. My CEO, the owner of this show, and business, wants to go retake her exams. Okay, Celia, don't worry about your exams. You're so smart. Me personally, I think I would do what I said. I would try to prevent a situation from happening. Maybe prevent, you know, certain disasters from happening in this world. I think that would be a good one. Maybe you could prevent wars from happening somehow. I doubt it. You know, I think that some things were written in the stars and you can't change that, but okay. I'd like to hear, maybe I have some listeners out there that have traveled through time. Come on and share that stuff. Woo! You want to talk about being known and being recognized in this world? Come on the show. Tell us about your time travel experience. I personally have not traveled in time. I don't know if I would want to. Okay, one reason why I think that I would not want to is my luck. I would travel back in time, change what I want to change, and then not have the ability to travel back. It has to be a round trip, not one way. I have too many things going on in the present time that I would not want to abandon. That's for sure. But okay, if I had the ability to travel back and then return to the future, maybe I would. Maybe I would. People, we're down to like 10 minutes remaining in the show. I've had some comments. I've answered some questions. Oh my God, I would love for just one person to come on the panel and raise your hand so we can speak to you. It's so nice to hear. You know, comments and questions are cool. Don't get me wrong, but it takes a brave individual to come on here and speak. And I love when this happens. I think it's great. But okay, I understand. Everybody's different. Some people don't enjoy this. Whew, I'm yawning. Okay, it's currently 11:20 a.m. in Europe, in Serbia, where I'm from. 5:20 p.m. in Asia, most of Asia. Not in Japan, not in South Korea. It would be 6:20. I think that there's a lot of people in Asia that are watching right now, and I just want to let you know that we would love to have you at Jing's Learning for classes. We're offering classes right now. We'll leave the links. Sign up now, people. Very beneficial for the English language. Jing's Learning Center, 5-star service, 5-star English for you. Practice through conversation. We'll help you with pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary. We're specialists when it comes to the English language. Lots of experience combined with our teachers. You won't regret it. Not only will you enjoy it, you'll tell all your friends how much you enjoy it. Trust me, I know this. Okay, we're coming to the bottom of the show. Oh, supernatural. Such a great subject this week. One more question. What will you bring back to 200 years ago if you traveled there? It's an interesting question. What could you bring back to really impress the people 200 years ago? I think anything. Can you imagine what people 200 years ago would think if you showed them a cell phone? They would think you were an alien. Think about that perspective. All of the things that we take for granted and enjoy these days, how would that look in the eyes of people 200 years ago? Wow. I never thought of that really. Even something as simple as my watch, they would freak out on that, wouldn't they? I'd bring my laptop. I don't know. What would you bring? Cell phone, laptop, anything electronic would really make these people geek, as we say in the United States. They would geek on that. Good question. Really good question. I appreciate that at the bottom of the show. Send some more through, guys. We're almost done. And we're still streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. For everybody's viewing pleasure, I hope there's lots of people out there today that are watching the show. This person continued with, I'd bring shampoo and toothbrush and shower gel. Hey, they had that stuff back then, I think. It just wasn't as nice as it is now, right? Yeah, that's good. I like that. Would you bring your pajamas too? Sleeping bag, possibly. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live 200 years ago. That's for sure. I just want to jump in the time machine, visit, and then jump back in the time machine and come back home. Would you like to go to prehistoric times in your time machine? See the dinosaurs, maybe, if you believe in that sort of thing. Imagine that, or to the beginning of this planet when it first formed. Well, after it cooled down, of course. That would be interesting, to be the only being on the planet. Can you imagine this? Untapped resources. You could become a billionaire. You could use your time machine to bring resources back. Think about it like that. I think that'd be great to see the dinosaurs, man. I know my daughter would enjoy that. Yeah. I guess supernatural experiences can be experienced through time machines, time travel. Wasn't one that I was thinking about for supernatural, but that's definitely a good point. Interesting stuff, people. When I think of supernatural, I think of ghosts, aliens, vampires, werewolves, anything not human, I guess. But supernatural is anything that cannot be explained by science. So time travel is definitely a good option. Yeah, where would you go? What time would you travel to? I think that would make a good segment in the future, just nothing but time travel. I bet everybody has a story for this, what they would wish to do, what history they would wish to change. Yeah, maybe that's a future segment. Well, I'll talk to the bosses. We'll see what they say. People, you have 3 minutes remaining. Come on here. Listen, I'll stay longer just to speak to somebody. No problem. If you have a question or some great story, supernatural story, I'll stay on longer than 2 hours just for you. Now's your last opportunity. We're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. 5th edition, Englishing with Jings. Free practice. Everybody loves free. That's for sure. You know what? I just want to take the last few minutes to thank Jing's Learning Center for this opportunity. Jing's Learning Center is one of the kindest businesses that I've ever had the opportunity to interact with. They truly care about their students and their employees. I can't say this for every business in this world. They're definitely kind and generous people. And they really want to help. That's for sure. They really want to help people learn. And first and foremost, that's their plan, to help you learn English. Such great people. I can't say much more than just great people. Cheers to Jings. Did you catch a glimpse of the tattoo? Okay, I don't have an arm now. That's awesome. There it is. Maybe we'll talk about tattoos on a future segment. That's one thing that I can say. I don't see many tattoos with my Asian students, or I don't ever hear them ask about tattoos. Is this taboo? Is it like not good to have tattoos in Asia? Okay, that's not supernatural, but maybe we talk about that in one of our future shows. We're down to 2 minutes remaining. Okay, well, there wasn't so much action as far as bringing somebody on live to speak to, but that's okay. I was asked quite a few interesting questions and told quite a few interesting stories on the panel. Even though people are anonymous, it's okay. I was shy when I was young too. And we had some Twilight reference. Why did I feel like that was going to happen? Goodness gracious, right when you think Twilight's over, people are still talking about Twilight. I'm kidding. It was actually interesting, especially at the cinema. It was a really, really good experience for me. I just didn't, I don't know, the whole teenage love story thing. I couldn't get over that, and I still can't, but okay. A lot of people still love this story. Personally, I'm more into, like I said, some of your older classic, vampire films. I don't know. Even some of your really, really early, Dracula movies were really great. Everything modern is just too kitschy for me, it seems. But okay. Okay, hey, one last comment from me, guys, and it's actually time to go. Okay, on Instagram, we're going to be asking, what supernatural power do you want to have? Comment. It's already posted on Instagram. Come on and let us know what supernatural power that you would love to have. And this was great, guys. I really appreciate everybody watching. And once again, give us a shout. Comment on Instagram. What supernatural power would you like to have? Okay, guys, it's time for me to fly away in my ship. Once again, I'm Brandon Lobshire. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. And everybody have a supernatural day. Bye for now. See you next week.